going to be talking about awards for law firms. And have the wonderful Annette Densham to work with us today. Annette fell in love with storytelling at 15 when she wrote her first news piece. Now an award-winning profile builder, Annette helps small business and entrepreneurs craft compelling stories, business awards, and AI, which she calls Annette Intelligent, driven content with her heart. Her work has earned recognition from the 2024 Telstra Best of Business Awards, Inside Small Business Top 50, and Australian Small Business Champion Awards. When she's not writing, you'll find her on stage emceeing events with her signature humour and energy. Thanks, Annette, and over to you.
Oh, thank you. She sounds like a pretty cool chick.
I know
It's always
she is.
funny. It's always funny when you hear your own bio read back to you and you're like, oh, actually, I sound all right. And I guess that's a really good platform to launch into talking about business awards, because a lot of people put business awards either in the too hard basket, or it makes them feel really uncomfortable, or they're not quite sure what to do. And that is always driven by our humanity. You know, we worry about what people think about us. You know, we don't want to be seen as what I call braggy McRag pants. And we don't want people to think that we think we're better than them. But what I have learned over the years, and I've been in the media, PR and corporate comms for my whole life, well, except for when I was a kid, but I'm sure I was still in PR then, is that I've learned that social proof is the currency of the realm. And awards are just one part of adding to that social proof and credibility. So I always say to people when they go, oh, I don't really like awards, or it's not for me, or my clients aren't interested in awards, is I challenge them and I say, yes, they are, because awards are not about you. They're about social proof. It's about having another feather in your cap, which enables people to see that you are good at what you do, to be able to champion and advocate for your business, and to be able to show your prospective clients that you've got the gravitas and the know-how and the expertise to do what you say that you do. So when we go, oh, they're not for me, you're right, they're not for you. I think if you're ever driven to enter awards because of ego, that's the wrong place to come from. It's really important to remember that awards are about showing your audience just another little breadcrumb that this is where we sit, this is what we're good at, and it gives them confidence, it helps build loyalty, and it certainly builds trust. So today I'm going to cover the 3 stages of awards. So like, how do you choose the right award for your firm? How do you go about the process of applying? What are some of the common mistakes that people make when they enter awards? And mistakes, I've seen a few. And then what do you do once you've made the finals or you've won? I always say to people, winning is fabulous. I love winning as much as the next person, but awards give you an opportunity to leverage every stage of the process to drop another breadcrumb and build that credibility. So let's go to choosing. Over to my magic clicker, the clicker lady. So choosing awards. Now, you will notice that I'm doing a bit of braggy McBrag pants, because every slide has got somebody that I've worked with. I've taken them to the finals, or I've helped them win. So this is the amazing Adam Nobel from Hugo Alexander Property Group. So I'm going to, I know we're talking law firms, but if when you've seen as many awards as I have, you'll notice there's a bit of a theme to the questions. They're pretty much all the same with some slight variances, and obviously specific to different industries. But, I'm using Adam as an example. He works in real estate. He really wants to be able to demonstrate the way that he's adapted in the market compared to other real estate agencies. So he entered the REB Awards, which is a real estate business awards, in Innovator of the Year around his concept for boarding house. So when it came time to choose awards for Adam, I always, and regardless of whether it's Adam or somebody else, is I ask, What is it that you want to gain from the process? What is it that you want to showcase with the awards process? What is something that you're really proud of achieving? And what do you think that will be compelling for your audience? So if we go to the next slide, I've got some key points that I would like to make. So when you're choosing awards, people ask this all the time, is it a waste of time or is it a smart investment of your time? Someone who runs an awards program said to me the other day, she said, oh, all of these people who had nominated but hadn't finished the submission process, and she follows them up, and they'd said, I just didn't have the time, it's not important enough to me. My challenge to that is that regardless of whether you're a lawyer, real estate agent, finance expert, an accountant, a doctor, whatever it is that you do, when we're in small business or business, our number one job is marketing what we do. And awards are that form of marketing. So I always think it is a smart investment. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of money, because it's another one of those breadcrumbs that you can drop to build that trust. So how do you work out the right award to pick from? Because let me tell you, like, I have a database, I think, of 1,500 awards, and that's small. I know there's certainly plenty more out there, and there's always new ones popping up all the time. So I say to people, if you're interested they go, I want to enter this award. And I go, the first thing you need to do is go to their website, have a look at their website. Does it look like Mickey Mouse created the website? There are a lot of dodgy ones out there which are really just around vanity. I won't name them, but if you ask me privately, I will certainly tell you which ones those are. Have a look at who's won before. Go and have a look at their website. Google them. Look at who the judges are. Are they respected people in the industry, or is it a panel of unknown people that you've never heard of that they're actually hiding? I love judges that spruik and share who their judging panel is, especially when we're looking at niche awards like law or real estate or accounting or finance, because you want to know that the people who are judging your application, your submission, are people who have at least some insight and understanding of the space that you work in. Google's your friend. Go and Google the award. Often, like, I got an email yesterday telling me that I was in the top. It was the IOTP International Awards for something for the professionals. And I went, is that a generic name or what? So I Googled it. Are these awards legit? And I found out that it's a pay to win scheme, program, whatever word you'd like to use. They had researched me online, and it's like, well, how do you even know I'm effective? I don't put my financials online. I don't put my clients' financials or their outcomes online. So how did you know that I'm actually any good? You can't believe everything you read online. It's really easy. I know. Ask me. I work in PR. It's easy to position yourself online so that you look the best, but you want to search and dig a little bit deeper. And don't be afraid to reach out to some of the past winners or finalists and ask them about their experience of the program. So you really want to look for those reputable industry associations. So in law, Lawyers Weekly are probably the top legal awards in this country for lawyers. But you also want to look at maybe some of the bigger, more general awards. So something like the Australian Small Business Champion Awards, which has got a legal category. So don't narrow your scope down by just going, I'm just going to enter industry awards. Have a look at the general awards that have legal categories. And I can tell you that not a lot of law firms enter awards, so you've got a pretty good chance of making the finals with a really solid submission. So next slide. So my question, waste of time or smart investment? Always a smart investment. So you want to make sure that your category is the best fit for you. This morning I did an interview with a lawyer for the Partner of the Year Awards, and his category is Best New Boutique Firm under 3 years. Now that fits him perfectly, because within the scope of that category, we can really articulate the things that he has done to build his law practice in under 3 years. So he might have gone, look, I've been around, he's actually been around 3 and a bit years. But I said, well, you haven't quite finished that, and you'll be up against people who've been around longer, 3+ years. That could be someone who's been in business for 10 years. There are different imperatives around those categories that you want to make sure that you're comparing apples with apples. The best fit is, what are your achievements? So here's some homework for you. So one of the things I always encourage people to do is grab a piece of paper or document, or however it feels comfortable with you, and just start brain dumping all of the things that you've accomplished in the last 12 months without editing. I know one year I sat there and I got out of bed. To me, that was I can't put that in an award, but it kind of got me started thinking. Go back through your diary, go back through your client files, go back through your wins, even go back through your losses, because out of losses comes lessons, challenges overcome, which may have driven bringing in new software or bringing in a new process or a new procedure which has improved the work that you do and will improve the outcomes. Go back and look at past winners for a fit. You get a really good feel of what the judges are looking for when you look at the people who have won. Now, there's only one award that I know in the world of awards that publishes winning entries, and that's the Stevie Awards, International Business Awards, the Asia Pacific Awards, the Stevie Awards for Women in Business. And you can actually go back through past years and read the gold winning entry, and you can see, you go, okay, I can see why they won. You can see that the story that they built, and you can see what the judges are looking for. The Stevies are also the only ones that I know of that actually give you judges' feedback, which is really valuable. Most awards don't do that. Given that there's probably thousands or even hundreds of entries. But I always ask. It's always worth asking. Could you give us some feedback of, especially why we didn't make the finals? Because how do you improve if you don't know where the gaps are? Go for credibility over popularity in terms of finding the right fit of awards and the right fit of categories. Again, for something like the Australian Small Business Champion Awards, they actually put a list of finalists. So you can go through and pick the categories that are, they've got 20 finalists. That limits your chance of winning by 1 in 20. I'd like the odds of 1 in 5 better. And that's always the marketing categories that seem to get far more entries than anything else. But when you're looking for best fit, always come back to, what have I achieved? What do I want to accomplish? And how can I see this working for me in terms of my marketing? What's going to resonate with my prospective clients and audience? What is going to impress them? So I'm going to use myself as an example. So the year before, our agency entered the Telstra Best of Business Awards. Let me tell you, that is an absolute massive process to go through. It goes over most of the year. There's 4 different stages, tens of thousands of words, lots of proof, lots of statistics and data that you have to use. But because our business, it was predominantly around working with women in business, we went for the Accelerating Women category. Even though we could have gone for Outstanding Growth, we had a really strong message of how important it is for women to overcome imposter syndrome and tall poppy syndrome, and the importance of telling their stories. Now, we won because we had compelling evidence and we made it fit with the category. So a really good guideline is to read the guidelines and criteria. I know the Law Weekly Awards, when you go and log into their portal, you can actually download a copy of the questions. And I say to people, print it out or use something online and go through and highlight the key words. And they're always around demonstrate or prove or share or give examples. And whenever you're reading back over your entry, it's also really important to have those questions next to you. And I always say to people, ask, so what? I've said this, but so what? Does it prove what they're asking. Okay, next slide. The submission process. This is where the rubber hits the road, and you have to take all of that information that you've collated and you've collected and put it into a format that's within the word count and that tells a story. So a lot of, particularly the Law Weekly Awards, they're 400 words per question. Now, for me, that's that's not much. For some people, they go, oh my God, 400 words, I've got to write 400 words about myself. But if you use these tips, and what I'm going to send Karen is I've got a few checklists and information on what type of data you need to collect and start collating, so that when the award opens, is that you've already got most of it there. It's just a process of going, here's the question, how do I use what I have? Because the last thing you want to do is leave something to the last minute, because it shows. And the last thing you want to do is go, I don't have enough time, I'll run it through ChatGPT, and the judges can tell. The Partner of the Year Awards actually has a sentence in it that says, we put all our submissions through an AI detector. And a lot of awards are starting to do that now. So let's go to the tips, Karen. And I know this seems a bit Captain Obvious, but these are the things that a lot of people miss, is follow the criteria strictly. A recent award, the program owner was saying to me that she had to disqualify somebody because they entered a category where the criteria was that you had to earn over $500,000 a year. And this person was earning underneath that. And she was most upset that she was disqualified, because she thought that her growth was really significant and should be factored in to the award, because she thought she was a business of a year because she had had a really sharp increase in business growth. But the criteria said over $500,000. So it doesn't matter what you think is significant, that if it doesn't fit the criteria, don't try and make it fit the criteria. Follow the criteria strictly, because if you don't, the judges will either mark your submission down or it will be disqualified. You don't want to go to all of that effort of putting all of this time and effort into it to have it, discounted on a technicality. And I guess I'd expect people working in the legal field, you'd be pretty good at following the rules. But don't be too rigid and formal and academic in your responses. Remember that the judges, regardless of their background, they are people first and foremost. They're swayed by storytelling as long as it's factual storytelling. So it's really important to balance, not just here are the facts, but give them a story to read, give them some context around. And if you make a claim, if you say, my firm grew by 30%, year ending 24, full stop. Explain, because of the work that we put into our marketing, we increased our ad spend on Facebook. I spoke at more webinars, and here's a few of them that I spoke at. This increased our visibility by this much. So whenever you make a claim, back that up with some proof. Quantify and qualify, really important. Testimonials are also really good. And I understand within the world of legal and legal firms is that there's confidentiality, there's privacy. You can't go, I worked with Karen McDonald and she was doing this and go into those. But you can create a case study. Like one of my clients is that we go mining industry, and we kind of blend a range of different scenarios so that we can still demonstrate their expertise and their prowess, but we're not giving anything in confidence away. But if you do have testimonials from someone who is happy to share that, judges look upon that really favourably. The more senior, the better. So have a think about who you could reach out to, and have a stock of 2 to 3 testimonials that you can share. So if you're entering the CEO's Executive of the Year Awards, which opens up mid-year, they have a category for the legal and professional services is that they ask for testimonials from someone that you've worked with, or it could be someone that may not have been a client, but someone that you've collaborated with on a case, or it could be someone that you've spoken for at a conference. These testimonials are some third-party credibility, which are giving the judges an insight into how they perceive you, the impact that you've had. I always say to people that you want to get three things in a testimonial: why they worked with you, why they came with you, what the problem was. Then what was the solution? What were the things that you did to help them get through that problem? And then what were the outcomes? So you're showing the problem, the solution, and the results. So, testimonials that go, hey, I worked with Monique. She's a really top lawyer and I love working with her and she's really smart. Like, that's really nice, but it actually doesn't tell the judges anything. There needs to be detail. Remember, qualify and quantify. And really important, don't waffle. And if you are using ChatGPT, then you want to take out those bridging sentences. Hopefully you know what I mean. It might be, Monique is more than just a lawyer. Monique is someone who's deeply passionate about the blah, blah, blah. That's nice, but it says nothing. Just go straight into the facts. Monique's work in this space has done this, this, and this, and here's the proof of this, this, and this. And also things like words like I believe, or I think, or I understand. Just make the statement, because if you've got a limited word count, all of those bridging statements, repeating the question, just take up words. Just tell a story, stick to the facts, and make it concise and interesting to read. Okay, next. Entry fees. This is one I get asked all the time. It's and there's a few awards that come out that have got entry fees that I can guarantee you every single year someone will post, this is a scam. No, entry fees are pretty normal in the award space. It's not that you're paying a fee to win, you're paying an entry fee because running an awards program is not a charity, it's not a not-for-profit, it's a business as much as it is giving people a platform to champion their achievements and their successes. And they're particularly regularly featured in industry awards. So I will say Lawyers Weekly Awards are free to enter. But if you enter, say you've got a marketing department who ran a really significant, successful campaign around some element of your business, there are Australian Institute of Marketing Awards and the Umbrella Awards, which have got categories for campaigns. Those type of industries do have entry fees. They can go anywhere from $50 to $500. That's just a range. They can be more, they can be free. But whenever you're looking at awards, look at the guidelines and check out the entry fees. And what I found is that when there is an entry fee, it precludes the tire kickers and the people who are looking for a quick win. Because when you have to pay an entry fee, I find that people take the process a lot more seriously. You think about when you give legal advice, when you give someone free advice, they take it with a grain of salt because there's no exchange. But when they pay for it, they tend to listen. And I find that when you pay to enter an award, is that you don't get, every single person who says, I grew by 2%, I'm going to go into this award. Is that you get people who've really thought about the process and the significance of their achievements. But things like the CEO Awards, Australian Small Business Champion Awards, the Telstra Awards, some of those bigger, more general business awards are free to enter. You will find that some of the more boutique awards, particularly like Women in Business Awards awards, they tend to have an entry fee because they're quite often started by someone who's worked in that space, seen a gap in the market, and then launched their awards and realised that you've got to have a website, you've got to have a good platform for judging and submitting awards, you have to market the awards. And organisations like Telstra have got a little bit more of a marketing budget to pour into giving back in that way. So if entry fees make you cringe a little bit, then just know there's a really good reason for having them there. And I'm a little cheeky sometimes when people go, oh, $99 to enter, that's like really expensive. It's like, well, do you really have a business if you can't afford $99? It's an investment, not just in entering and potentially winning, but it's also an investment in the reflecting that you have to do when you enter an awards. It's such an amazing, I'm going through it with Karen at the moment and drawing out that information and almost forcing her, I'm not holding her down. Do this, Karen. She's been fabulous. Like, you're top of my list of you actually do what you say you're going to do, is that it enables you to really look back so you can look forward. It enables you to identify the gaps. It enables you to identify, those key moments in your business where when we're in business, we're in the business of working in it. We're not often working on it, and awards are a really great way to do that. All right, next, okay, hidden costs. This is what people don't factor in. If you're going to enter an award, coming back to the, choosing process, I'm working with a client at the moment, incredibly high profile, very, very busy, all over the place, all the time. She only enters the awards that she can attend. So when you're looking at the calendar, they'll all put open close date, but they'll also have the gala date or the event date. Check out whether you can go to it, because there's something really significant from those networking opportunities and being able to get up on stage and accept your award in front of your peers, in front of potential clients, that you miss out on if you can't attend the ceremony. So the hidden cost here is you have to pay for a ticket, and they can range anywhere from $100. Industry awards can be anywhere up to $300, $400, $500 for a ticket to attend those awards. And I love it when people say to me, oh, the food was crap. It's like, well, you're not actually there to eat. You're there for that opportunity to expand and your influence, your connections, and the opportunities for people to hear and see what it is that you're doing. I've got a really great example. One of my clients won a REB award last week. We worked really hard on his acceptance speech. He got up. He was the only one who had prepared an acceptance speech, so he stood out straight away, because most people go, oh, wing it. No, don't wing it. Prepare, because this is your 30 seconds, your 60 seconds in the spotlight. He got up there. It was a cracker of a speech. It was like emotional, it was poignant, and it was filled with his key messages, which he wants people to hear. He has been inundated with offers for meetings with people who want to collaborate with him from that 60 seconds on stage, which cost him $400 for his ticket. But the return on his investment is not just a beautiful crystal trophy, it is also the relationships and the potential partnerships that come from that. You've got to factor in travel and accommodation. Hotels aren't cheap. You're looking at anywhere from a couple of $100 to $400 or $500 for the night. You've got plane, flights, food. So hidden costs can be anywhere up to not just the entry fee, but it could be up to $1,000 to $1,200 to attend the event, to get a dress or a new suit, to get your hair and makeup done, or whatever it is that you want to do, and go for that effort. Or you can take a leaf out of Pamela Anderson's book and just go fresh face. I love that. I've done that for the last few awards, because it's like, oh, I just can't be bothered spending $200 on makeup and then I'm washing it off. Also factor in PR and marketing costs. So you may want to do a series of Facebook ads, sharing 5 insights from what you learn about entering awards. You may want to send a media release out to your local media, So there's also the post, and I'll cover that in the next few slides, of some of the things that you can do post awards. And there's also the time investment for the application. So you have two options. You can use someone like me. I cost money to do this. It's my time, it's my knowledge, it's my expertise. Factor that into your budget. But if you're going to do it, you also have to factor in the time. What is your time worth per hour? An average award can take anywhere from 8 to 15 hours to complete if you're writing it from scratch. So there's all of those things to factor in. Okay, next. What are the benefits? Brand exposure. Really, aside from it's nice to win, you're doing this because this is about dropping a breadcrumb. This is adding credibility and trust factor to what it is that you do. Because, as I mentioned right from the start, is we live in a world driven by social proof. It's why things go viral and why we're hovering over engagement on our LinkedIn or on our Facebook. We want to know that people are paying attention to what we're doing. So if awards are part of your marketing breadcrumbs, then it's just another piece of proof that you can add to someone who may be sitting on the fence and going, well, I'm comparing Helix Legal with this firm. What are the differences? And it may be that Monique has been on more webinars. She's entered and won a few awards. She's made the final in a few awards. She's consistent on LinkedIn, that there is proof out there that you do what you say you do. It's also those networking opportunities that I factored in. Quite often awards will have a pre-event, or you sat at a table with people that you don't know. I've done a lot of business at awards where I've sat next to people and gone, oh, hi, my name's Annette. The feedback from the judges. If you get it, as I said, not every award, maybe 5% of awards will give you feedback, but it's always worth asking. Or something, send it to me. I give people feedback on awards for a fee, of course, and someone sent me one the other day and she said, I don't understand why I'm not winning. What I do is amazing. And she sent me her application and I went, oh, I don't even need to, your first sentence. You wrote this in AI first and foremost, and it says nothing. There's no proof, there's no facts. So when you're judging your submission, you do have to take off your emotional hat and look at it from a judge's point of view. Just being a finalist is an opportunity to brand and market your business, because not everybody makes the finals, and that credibility piece as well. Next slide. Okay, mistakes. As I said, I've seen a few. Ignoring criteria and word limits, especially if the award is done through Jotform or Google Docs or Google Forms. If they use a platform like Awards Platform or Awards Force, is that it won't actually let you progress through the awards if you're over the word limit. So some of my tips is contract words, use dot points. That allows you to get more in. Like I said, take out of things like I think, I believe, bridging sentences, repeating the question, just make it impactful and punchy. And always, every time you finish an award, go back and be very critical against the criteria and ask what I do. So what? Or whatever. I always go, so whatever. I love customer service questions. Tell us about your customer service, and people go, well, customer service is a priority for me. And I'm like, you're in business, I would hope so. What is it about your customer service that you've made a priority? Is there a loyalty program that you have, or is there a program that you use that makes onboarding easier? So always dig deeper through those questions. Generic or vague responses, like I said, if you make a claim, back it up. Make a claim, back it up. Give proof every stage that you can. Submitting at the last minute, because what that means is that you've probably made some mistakes. Your spelling mistakes, even though we all make mistakes, you're being judged. You want it to be the best entry that you can. So when you're setting up your calendar for awards, is take note of when they open, when they close, and give yourself enough time so that you can do a good job. Cutting and pasting straight from AI. I love AI. ChatGPT is my best friend. but I don't write with it. I use it to collate and to gather information. So when I do an interview with someone, I have the questions and I go in and I'm very specific and say, here's the question. Can you go pull out all of the fact points for me? And then I write the story around it. I build the feeling around it. And that's why I say to people, I am your AI, your innate intelligence, because storytelling is just as important as facts in the awards. So if you're cutting and pasting directly from AI, the judges will know. They can tell. There are so many programs now where it's easy just to run something through and go, oh, this is like 100% written by AI. You will not make the finals. But if you do, not everybody's a writer. If you do use it to write your entry, then cut and paste it into a Word document and then go put your language, your style, your tone into it. And, after a while, you'll start to see some things. I saw someone's Facebook post today and everyone's going, oh my God, what an amazing post. And the opening line was, in the world of the business landscape. Straight away, I know that's ChatGPT. You can tell. And as I said, failing to showcase your impact with data. It's all well and good to go, we did this. Tell them how you did it. Tell them what the outcomes were, what were the benefits, what were the significant moments. Okay, next one. More mistakes. Choosing the right awards. I had someone was online bragging the other day about this particular award that is just dreadful. They send you an email and they go, congratulations, Karen. You were the winner of the category of legal firm software packages for commercial lawyers. You go, that's a very specific category. I don't remember entering that. So you probably, everyone's received them, emails or outreach on LinkedIn going, dear Karen, you've been nominated for this award or you've won this award, and you're like going, I don't remember entering that. And how do you know the impact of my work? So they trawl the internet, they then go and Google you, and they send you this, and then they ask you for a couple of grand to appear in their magazine and to get your trophy. If you've got to pay for a trophy, I don't mind paying entry fees, but when you've got to pay for a trophy, then for me, there's something stinky going on. So just be really careful, because even though most people would have no idea whether they're credible or not, is that and when you're putting something out just to get attention, there's an incongruency there in messaging. And, we're talking, people buy subconsciously, they add up all of these things that they see about you, and they may not really understand why something that you've posted makes them feel uncomfortable. But when you're posting something that's not credible or reputable, then, I don't know why you would want to put something like that out. Choose quality over quantity. Sometimes, people go, I'm going to do 20 awards. That's a lot of work, but it also means that people kind of get fatigued of you constantly going, look, I won, I made the finals, I won. Choose things that are going to have impact and an impression on your audience rather than having, 25 feathers in your cap. Just have a few really significant ones that are reputable and respected. Awards are a long-term strategy. So the Stevie International Business Awards are open now. They don't close until May, June. They don't judge till July, August. You don't find out who the winner is until October. So delayed gratification is certainly an element in entering awards. So you may enter at the beginning of the year, but you don't get a result to the end of the year. So just look at it as, I come back to that breadcrumb analogy, is that's why leveraging each stage of the process kind of keeps you in touch with your audience. And learn from your feedback. If you've written something, send it to a friend or a colleague and say, can you read this? If you read this as a judge, what do you think I've missed? Next. So for me, winning is not just about standing on stage with the trophy. It's about using the process from start to finish. I always encourage people to share, write something about what it felt like to be interviewed by someone talking about yourself. What did you learn? What were the things that surprised you about what your achievements were? Because a lot of people go, well, my financial growth, that's my greatest achievement. But you may realise that actually your greatest achievement was something totally different. And when you get to the final, so you'll see a lot of generic posts that'll people will say, I'm honoured, I'm privileged. Like, you are honoured and you are privileged to have made that stage. But put something out that's a little bit different, like right from the heart, because that's what people relate to. I'm honoured and I'm privileged is wonderful, but everybody says that. Think a little differently about the content that you're putting out there. And as I said, write about what you learned. What were some of the insights? It may be that you went, I didn't realise what a big impact we had on that client or on that process that we put in. Share every stage. So when you're nominated, a lot of awards will send you a logo. Put that out there. Update your website. Update your email signature. Update your LinkedIn profile. There's a section in LinkedIn called Honours and Recognition. Go in there and update that with every step of the awards process. So my message here is don't keep it a secret. Over the past 12 years, I've been specialising in this space. I can tell you, I'm not making these stats up because 75% of stats are all made up, but I've analysed the people I've worked with. Only 20% of people ever share that they've entered, made the finals, or won an award. And you go, look, why did you bother? Because you can't sell a secret and you can't drop those breadcrumbs if you're keeping the breadcrumbs locked in the pantry behind the key. And I know that it feels awkward. And when we're service-based professionals, it does feel awkward to be talking about ourselves. If you find it uncomfortable to talk about yourself, talk about the process. Talk about what you learned. It doesn't always have to be I. It can be something a little more meaningful and something a little bit more distinctive that, takes people on that journey, but still gives you that opportunity to brag. Next slide. This is the last one. Look at that. And today, I always feel like Big Kev when I do this. So I have a package, 3 awards that I do for you over the course of the year. If you'd like to know more, there's a bit of information there about what I do. I find the awards for you. I write the awards for you. I submit the awards for you. I also help you with bragging rights. So when you make the finals and you win, I help you write your acceptance speech. And I help draw. I'm like an information dentist. I do anaesthetize you a little bit, but I help you draw out those, those achievements and those successes. Because my background is a journalist, I am a professional sticky beak, so I love digging deep and asking people questions. Sometimes I ask you random questions, but there's always a purpose to what I do. So I'm going to send Karen the checklist of things that you can start collating if you're going to do your own awards, and also a few other little bits and pieces like a guide. And I've also created a spreadsheet of legal awards and awards that have got legal categories. So you don't even have to worry about doing that. You can go and have a look. They'll have the links to each of the website. If you want any more information or you want to check the credibility or trustability of an award, please email me, smoke sig me, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer any questions. But what I do want you to do is just to give it a crack, have a go through the process. It's actually a really enlightening and interesting process to go through. And you know what? The more you do it, the less uncomfortable it gets. So thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you on stage.
Thank you very much.
Have you got any questions, Monique?
Not so far. So I'm one of the legal assistants and brand officers for our firm. So I'm the one who looks for our awards and things like that. We've like done a couple in the past, like we've done quite a few in the past that we've applied for and we've become finalists of one. So I'm just new to the role and doing it, so I kind of just get a gauge of what I'll be looking for and things like that.
Congratulations on your new role.
Thank you.
Yeah. You get the fun stuff to do.
Yeah, so because we have a group of companies and we work in the construction space, so we look at other awards outside law. So yeah,
I think that's always a really smart strategy, is because, you know, if you're just always entering the same industry awards, I mean, how many times can you enter something and win before people go, give someone else a go? But to be able to show off and showcase the different elements of the firm's practice and the way that you put your message out there, and even things like Employee of the Year awards. So there's the Stevie Awards for women in business. They have got categories for women in different industry. And they've also got Employee of the Year, which is a free category to enter. So you could look at nominating someone who's done an outstanding job. And whilst it's about the person, you're still able to leverage that from a marketing perspective about the firm. Because to me, when someone enters somebody within their organisation, I go, well, their people matter to them. They're the type of people I want to work with, because they actually care about the people who are, you know, at the coalface.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, you'll get a copy of, you might already have some of the awards that I've got in that spreadsheet, but I think there might be a few there that you go, oh, I didn't think of that one. I hope so.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
See you, Monique.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Woohoo.